You are Locked On Braves POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, your team every day.
A great night for the Atlanta Braves at Dodger Stadium, and man, we haven't been able to say that for a long time when it comes to a regular season game. Braves broke a long losing streak. They evened up this three-game series at a game apiece with a nice tidy 3-1 win behind Max Fried, who was absolutely dominating in a place that used to be his backyard. He grew up not far from Dodger Stadium, had to feel pretty good to win on that mound and help his club pick up a much-needed victory to get this road trip back on track and give them a chance to take a series from the Dodgers, which, again, is a rarity out at Dodger Stadium. I'm Grant McAuley. He's Jake Mastroianni. Welcome inside the Braves POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. We got a lot of great stuff to get to in this one, but I want to remind you before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the Locked On Atlanta YouTube page. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, click that bell, enable those notifications. Make sure you're getting those alerts every time we drop a new episode. And Jake, this is going to be a pretty fun one right here, and we're going to start with Max Fried because he was absolutely dialed in. It's what I like to call maximum Fried, and the Dodgers got a first-hand look at it tonight.
They did, and we've been waiting for it. He had a couple of rough ones to begin the season. He was definitely due to have a big one. I know we'll dive more into it here in a little bit, but yeah, it's definitely much better staying up this late after a win.
It always seems to make it just a little bit better. And the Braves in the opener, obviously, a lot of things did not go their way. They fell behind early. They couldn't climb back in, but Max Fried was not going to let that happen on this night. In fact, he was perfect through the first five. We'll really break down all of the things that were going right for him and the Braves getting just enough timely hits in this one to help out and support Max Fried and let the bullpen do the rest. But another complete win from this Braves club. And I know we haven't seen a lot of the consistently high-scoring nights that I think this offense is going to be capable of going forward, Jake. But Travis d'Arnaud set the tone with a home run, and then the Braves were able to get a couple of add-on runs. And as it happened, with the Dodgers trying to scratch and claw their way back in late, those add-in runs came in handy.
They did, and they had some opportunities to get some more, and it was starting to worry me a little bit. But yes, you have to take advantage when you get the opportunities against this Dodgers team, especially against a pitcher like Walker Buehler, who the Braves seem very comfortable against. Got 8 hits against him. So yes, that was big. They needed all of them in the end.
Yeah, they certainly did. Needed each and every one of those, or each and every one of the runs that they scored. Most certainly, you'll take all you can get at Dodger Stadium. It's been kind of a house of horrors for the Braves, who snapped an 8-game regular season losing streak. They had a little sweetness in October last year in getting a win out at Dodger Stadium. Almost had a couple, almost into the series out there, as a matter of fact. But getting off on a winning note much earlier in the regular season series this year, Braves aren't going to mind that at all. Let's look inside the box score. Game 13 for the Atlanta Braves on the season. They are now 6-7 after scoring 3 runs on 12 hits, no errors, 8 men left on base for the Braves. Dodgers have their nice little winning streak snapped. I think it was at 7 games coming into this one. They're now 8-3 on the year. A run on just 2 hits, no errors, 1 man left on base. The winner was Max Fried. He's now 1-2 on the season. Walker Buehler touched up, as Jake mentioned, gave up 8 hits. It wasn't a lopsided loss. Most certainly for Buehler. He didn't get touched up too much, but 1-1 on the year as he takes the defeat. And Kenley Jansen came on to nail down the save in a game that lasted 2 hours and 49 minutes, and a crowd of 51,889 were on hand to see it. Again, though, the story on this night was Max Fried. A lot of other good things to talk about as far as what the Braves were able to do in this one, and we'll get to those in just a moment. Before that, though, I want to let you know about Built Bar. All Built Bars covered with 100% real chocolate. These are low-calorie, high-protein, and you can replace your candy bars with these because they're simply better. Most Built Bars, 130 calories, 17 grams of protein. Most typical candy bars, well, usually 200 to 300 calories and a whole bunch of sugar and other stuff that's not great for you. Built Bar is all about taste. They make it delicious and figure out how to make it healthy. And you can take advantage of our offer. Use the promo code LOCKED15. Get 15% off your order at Built.com. The Braves built themselves a nice lead and had Max Fried in cruise control on this night. Perfect through the first 5 innings, 7 innings of 2-hit ball. 1 was an infield hit. The other was just a line drive out into right field. I thought at first maybe it was kind of unfortunate that Eddie Rosario didn't dive for it. Looking back at it a couple times, I'm not quite as certain that it was a ball that could be caught, even if you wanted to see the dive. But Be that as it may, no walks, 8 strikeouts for Max Fried. Jake, after the first couple of outings in which he seemed to just run into some trouble at some point and not really be able to finish the way he wanted to, nice to see Max Fried in complete control and against a lineup that's quite simply one of the best in baseball.
And no walks. That was the big thing for me, especially after how many batters the Braves walked the last couple of games. 7 walks in game 1 of this series, and Max had struggled a little bit at times in his first 2 starts with command and, like you said, against a Dodgers lineup that is very patient. So to not walk any batters, that is huge. What I really love for Max in this start is that he really mixed up his pitches well. A team that's obviously very familiar with him. 26 fastballs, 21 sliders, 20 curveballs, 15 changeups, and 11 sinkers. And he had 2 swings and misses on each of those pitches. So he just had the Dodgers hitters guessing all night, continually had them off balance. And my favorite moment of the night is the last time he faced Freddie Freeman. He got him up 0-2, tried to paint 97 on the black outside. The fastest pitch that he threw of the night. You know he was geared up for that one. Didn't get the call, came right back with the sinker in to get the strikeout, struck Freddie out a couple of times. So, yeah, a great performance from Max Fried. I think this is the Max we are ready to see the rest of the season.
Yeah, again, I call it maximum Freed. It was this on that night. And if you want to ask somebody what it was like, this is Freddie Freeman's first time having to account for all the things Max Fried can do for you. And you mentioned, running that fastball inside on him, particularly in that second strikeout of Freddie. You don't see Freeman get tied up like that too many times. So that's just a testament to how well Max Fried was pitching, how well he was dialed in, and just exactly what he was able to do with his game plan, along with Travis d'Arnaud, his battery mate, who got the scoring started with a solo home run off Walker Buehler, second home run of the year for Travis d'Arnaud. And I know that he came back and was really a warrior behind the plate for the Braves, caught every inning of their postseason run, but you could tell at the plate that thumb was not 100% after coming back from that surgery, suffering the injury that cost him a big chunk of last season. But with a winter to relax and work out and just let kind of time do its thing and heal, this looks a little bit more like the Travis d'Arnaud we got used to in 2020. His approach at the plate, he just looks so much more comfortable and so much stronger up there as well.
He does, and that was a no doubt shot. And I mean, his never been a question of whether or not Travis is a good player, a good hitter. It's just been health for him. Can he stay on the field? And if he can do that, he's going to be one of the best catchers in baseball as he was during the shortened 2020 season. In his time with the Braves, he's slashing 265, 327, 445 with 17 home runs in 112 games coming into Tuesday. So he has been great when he's been there. Again, the only question with Travis is can he stay healthy? But like you said, right now he looks healthy and he looks really good in this Braves lineup.
Yeah, and obviously a big role for him is being behind the plate to help lead this staff. He helped Max Fried on this night. A couple of other big contributors to this win, at least one that I want to look at, is Orlando Garcia. A lot of folks kind of wondered why he was on the roster and certainly why he was getting starts at DH in some of these games. But what he's done in the early going, Jake, is just go up there and provide some hits. I mean, this is not flashy, big power output, those kinds of things, though I thought he'd hit a monster home run in his final at bat. It just kind of died on the warning track in the 8th inning. But 3 hits for him on the day. And we talked a little bit about the struggles of Dansby Swanson. I just kind of start to wonder maybe Orlando Garcia gets that start that gives Dansby that breather, that mental day off. Dansby 1 for 4 in this game. So not necessarily something to key in on too much here tonight, but perhaps that's something in the offing if the early season struggles continue for Swanson, because Garcia has swung such a great bat. And really, I think we should have started this show with the breaking news, the biggest development of this game between the Braves and the Dodgers, and it happened in the 5th inning. It was Ozzie Albies stealing second base, the Braves' first steal of the season. That in and of itself cause for celebration. But how about the second stolen base of that inning? Austin Riley, the first of his career. The Braves, I counted it up, went 106 offensive innings with 0 steals through the first 12 games of the year and the first 4 innings of this game. It's Ozzie Albies. Okay, I expect that. Austin Riley, though, baseball has a funny way of giving us things we just don't expect.
Yeah, that one certainly caught me off guard, but maybe it's contagious. Who knows? Maybe this team will lead the league in stolen bases here. We'll see. But going back to Arcia, I like that Snicker started him in this game because I had mentioned it on the Locked On Braves podcast on Tuesday. I didn't know if he would because he's only been starting him against lefties, but you look at the numbers against Walker Buehler, and he had good numbers against him. So kudos to Snit to play in the matchup there and sticking with Arcia, who, like you said, 3 hits in this game, 4 hard hit balls. Every time he went up there, he hit the ball hard. So yes, he's been big for the Braves so far, and he was huge on this particular night.
Yeah, consistent high exit velocities for Garcia. I believe 3 of them in excess of 100 miles per hour. So he was stinging the ball, not just against Walker Buehler, but even late into the game. Again, he flirted with a home run. It, was, I thought, going to be an easy over the center field wall shot for Garcia to cap a 4-hit night. But I think with the way Major League Baseball is approaching using these humidors in all the parks now, that kind of took some of the steam off of that. But either way, they can't take any of the steam away from Orlando Garcia's night overall. It was a great one, a sight for sore eyes. Speaking of something that is a sight for sore eyes, Ronald Acuna Jr. playing a professional baseball game. It hadn't happened for 283 days. It happened in Jacksonville, Florida on Tuesday night. Ronald went 1 for 3, hit the ball hard 3 times, got a couple of chances out in right field where he played 5 innings. Jake, this is the great first step for Ronald, who afterwards told reporters that he feels better than he's ever been. And as I like to say, that should scare the bejesus out of the rest of baseball when he does get back, if that's the Ronald Acuna Jr. that's walking through the door to join the Braves.
Yeah, confidence is not a problem for Ronald Acuna Jr., and I cannot wait. As soon as I saw that quote where he said, "I'm ready whenever they call me," I tweeted out, "Call the man," as Aunt B used to say on the Andy Griffith Show one time. "Call the man. I'm ready for him. I want to see him up here. I'm so pumped. I can't wait. I know they're going to take a slow approach,
Yep.
and they probably should. But yeah, watching him take swings like that, going right center field, a couple of balls he hit really deep, and over 5,000 fans there tonight. I believe it was more than they had at the Oakland A's game, which is just kind of crazy. That's how eager everybody is, Braves fans especially, to see Ronald back.
Yeah, Ronald can draw a crowd, certainly. And in Florida, there's some Braves country there, most certainly, as well. So good to see Ronald get that first step, knock off a little bit of the rust if there is some of that, kind of get himself back into the reps and the grind that's going to be playing baseball every single day. It's something that can be challenging. So you want to have him go through the paces there in Gwinnett. No reason to rush him. But if you look at a week or 8 days from now and he's really kind of checked all the boxes, I wonder if the Braves might look to move his timetable up to the first part of May, or at least that Mets series right before the home series. So it'll be interesting to see how all of that plays out. As we closed out this game, it was certainly good to see Kenley Jansen in front of his old home crowd with his new team. And it all came down to Freddie Freeman in the end. We keep getting these moments, Jake, in this series. We got Freeman hitting a home run against the Braves. We got Kenley nailing down a save against the Dodgers. First couple of games certainly have given us a little bit of things that could have old fans and new fans alike, I guess, for these players kind of up in their feelings.
Yeah, you knew that's what it had to come down to, right? As soon as you saw Freddie do up that next inning, Kenley getting ready, again, a Hollywood moment. And just so happy for Kenley to be able to come out there, and he looked really good against his old team at getting that last out against Freeman. I mean, you can't write a better storybook ending in baseball.
350 saves for the Dodgers. Now 1 save against the Dodgers for Kenley Jansen, who's up to 353 as he nailed down his 3rd save with the Atlanta Braves. Let's get you set for this series finale, which is coming up. Game 3, going to be an afternoon affair. Going to be starting a little bit afternoon way out in LA, but for us here on the Eastern time, or at least across the country, a little bit later. We'll get to it in just a moment. Want to let you know about betonline.net, though. It's your number one source for all your betting stats and sports info. Find the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's basketball playoffs and the start of Major League Baseball's season. BetOnline, your source for all your sports wagering information, from live betting to playoffs to esports and more. Head to betonline.net today to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. Game will be starting tomorrow out in Chavez Ravine, Atlanta and LA. We'll get it tuned up at 3:10 Eastern time. That's the first pitch. Charlie Morton, 1-1 on the year. Tony Gonsolin, no record thus far. We know Tony Gonsolin and his crazy cat spikes. I don't know if he'll have them on tomorrow, but we also know Charlie Morton. He's had a pretty good one and one that he'd probably like to have back thus far this year. But let's see if we can dial up some vintage Charlie Morton for Game 3 as the Braves look to win a series against the Dodgers in LA for the first time in a while.
Yeah, and to come home with a winning record on this road trip against two very good teams in the Padres and Dodgers, that would be huge for this Braves team. I am looking for Charlie to have a good bounce back start. I believe it was the most hits he's allowed since coming back to Atlanta. So odds would tell you he's not going to have that bad of a start again. So looking for good things from him. And then Tony Gonsolin hasn't really thrown a lot of pitches. I don't know that he's completely stretched out yet. So be patient with him, get him out of there early, try to get some early runs on him, let Morton go to work. And then the bullpen's still in pretty good shape in this series as well. So I think it's a very good chance for the Braves to win this series in LA, come back with a winning road trip.
Well, game 3, Braves and Dodgers. Charlie Morton against Tony Gonsolin, 3:10 first pitch Eastern time, and we'll have you covered afterwards right here on the Locked On Sports Atlanta Braves postcast as we recap the Braves and Dodgers. The first meeting between Freddie Freeman and the Braves and Kenley Jansen and the Dodgers. A lot of storylines going on in this one, but the biggest storyline I think the Braves would like to take away from it would be a series win against Freddie and the Dodgers. Thanks for joining us here on the Braves postcast, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, click the bell, get those alerts. Also, if you have an Amazon Fire Stick or a Roku device, you can find the 11 Alive Plus app, and you can find Jake and myself and the Braves postcast right there. So keep a lookout for us. In fact, the Locked On Sports, all of the different podcasts and video shows that we have are available on that app. So give that a look again on your Roku or your Amazon Fire Stick. You might just like what you find there, especially if you like this show. So we appreciate that. Again, make sure you're subscribed on YouTube and check us out everywhere we are, including Jake and the Locked On Braves podcast, where you can get the audio of every episode of this and every episode that he's bringing to you each and every day as well. So that'll do it for us. I'm Grant McAuley. He's Jake Mastroianni. The final score of this game was the Braves 3 and the Dodgers 1. And we will catch you next time, which is tomorrow, on the Braves postcast, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. So long, everyone.